Hey guys, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. Editing mate is going to really hate me for this video.
I fucking hate you.
But I really wanted to do my entire owned TBR, and it is over 400 books long. Please don't give me hate for this. I do have a book buying addiction and I am trying to battle that in 2020. Some of these books I have read, but it's been that long since I read them that I've decided to put them back onto my TBR. Some of these are like the first in a series that I've already read, but it's been that long since I read them and I need to complete the series, so I've decided to put the entire series on my TBR. So I was watching a lot of owned TBR videos and I was trying to say which format would be best for me, and since there are over 400 books on here, it's probably best that I just list them and have a little number on the screen like Becca and the Books did and A Frog Through Fiction. So I love their videos and I was inspired by them. Yeah, so I'm doing mine. So I'm going to do this in sections because my bookcases are kind of split into sections. So I will start with graphic novels and then I will move on to my ARCs, and then I will go on to my hardbacks, and then I will go on to my middle grade paperbacks, and then my YA paperbacks, and then my adult paperbacks. Don't ask me to explain my system. It will also be in alphabetical order by the author's surname, so there's that as well. And I will apologise in advance as well with the constant change of colour or the lighting situation on this. It most likely won't stay the same. It is definitely recording, isn't it? It is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. So since there are a lot on this TBR, here they are. Here we go. I'm dreading this, but I'm also kind of low-key living for it, but I'm dreading it. Starting with graphic novels then. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Remaining Sunlight. This is floppy. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer Pale Reflections by Andy Watson, Cliff Richards and Joe Pimentel. Charmed Season 10 Volume 3 by Pat Chand, Eliza Felix and Valentina Cuomo. I also want to pause this to say I will not be pronouncing any of these author names correctly. Saga Compendium 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Shades of Magic, The Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab. The Walking Dead Compendium 1 and The Walking Dead Compendium 2 by Robert Kirkman, Charlie Adlard and Cliff Rathburn. And that's all of my graphic novels. I don't have a big graphic novel collection or anything. I'm not a big graphic novel reader, but hopefully in 2020, maybe. Who knows? Next are my ARCs, and I work as a bookseller, so I get a lot of ARCs, sometimes without requesting them. So please don't hate me because I haven't read a few of these that have already come out, and yeah, I'm sorry. I also have a few ARCs that I haven't read yet, but I also have the final copy, so I will only show the final copy when I get to that section later on. But these are really just the ARCs that I'm still interested in reading and that might have come out already, but I don't have the final copy for it. So I'll just show you what they are, but again, I don't request half of these. A lot of them I do, but half the time I don't. So don't hate me, please. The first of my ARCs is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. The Island by M.A. Bennett. Lie With Me by Philippe Benson. Translated by Molly Ringwald. Romanov by Nadine Brands. The Girl with the Shark's Teeth by Kerry Burnell. The Swords of Silence by Sean Curry. Kingdom Tide by Ry Curtis. Why do I keep doing it like that? Kingdom Tide by Ry Curtis. Furious Thing by Jenny Downham. The Vanished Bride by Bella Ellis. The House Without Windows by Barbara Newell Follett and Jackie Morris. The Lost Ones by Anita Frank. Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. The Truths and Triumphs of Grace Atherton by Anstey Harris. Did I say that right? Havenfall by Sarah Holland. The Highland Falcon Thief by M.J. Leonard and Sam Sedgman. The Ghost Factory by Jenny McCartney. The Memory Thief by Lauren Manzi. The Night I Met Father Christmas by Ben Miller. Orphans of the Tide by Struan Murray. The Haunting of Dracliff Grange School by Kim Newman. Wakenhurst by Michelle Paver. Dead to Her by Sarah Pinborough. That's how you pronounce it. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. The Unadoptables by Hannah Took. Starfell, Willowmoss and the Lost Air by Dominique Valente. And now going into my hardbacks. I have all of my hardbacks together, but they're in size order. But I am still going to do the author surname alphabetical list thing. It's mixed up in genres, so there are children's books and adult books and YA books mixed in here. So yeah. Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. Friday Black by Nana Kwam Adjei-Brenya. The Power by Naomi Alderman. White Stag by Cara Barbieri. Kingdom of Souls, The Last Witch Doctor by Rena Barron. The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell. The Beckoning Shadow by Catherine Blair. Stranger Things, Suspicious Minds by Gwenda Bond. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. The Confessions of Franny Langton by Sarah Collins. The Wizards of Once Knocked 3 Times by Cressida Cowell. Recursion by Blake Crouch. And these next ones I've filed under Disney Twisted Tales, and that's why it's here under D. As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. Conceal Don't Feel by Jen Colanita. Mirror Mirror by Jen Colanita. This next one is a paperback, but I don't like to split it up from my hardbacks. Once Upon a Dream by Liz Braswell. Part of Your World by Liz Braswell. And Reflection by Elizabeth Lim. Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. The Girl Who Saved Christmas. Father Christmas and Me. And The Truth Pixie by Matt Haig. The Death of Skills by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. Midnight Crossword. I always want to do a crossword at midnight. Midnight Crossroad by Charlene Harris. Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. Sea Witch and Sea Witch Rising by Sarah Henning. Hocus Pocus and the All New Sequel by A.W. Jantha. Off Season by Jack Ketchum. Dogtone by J. Christoph. The Phantom of the Opera and Other Gothic Tales by Gaston Leroux. Middle Game by Shonen Maguire. Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. The Short Second Life of Britannia by Stephanie Meyer. Circe by Madeline Miller. My Neighbor Totoro by Hayao Miyazaki and Sugiko Kubo. The Night Circus and Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. The Complete Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe by Edgar Allan Poe. The Book of Dust Volume 1, La Belle Sauvage, and The Book of Dust Volume 2, The Secret Commonwealth by Philip Pullman. Normal People by Sally Rooney. Aladdin Far from Agrabah by Aisha Saeed. A Conjuring of Light and The Nia Witch by V.A. Schwab. Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Zombie Clans by Darren Shan. Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. The Silmarillion, Beren Luthien, The Children of Huron, and The Fall of Gondolin by J.R.R. Tolkien. The Boy with a Butterfly Mind by Victoria Williamson, and My Mum Tracy Beaker by Jacqueline Wilson, which I don't know if I ever want to read because Tracy Beaker was my childhood and this might ruin it. Okay, so moving on to the middle grade paperbacks. The Middler by Kirsty Applebaum, Small Spaces by Catherine Arden, The Polar Bear Explorers Club, Explorers on Witch Mountain, and Explorers on Black Ice Bridge by Alex Bell, The Vengeance of the Witchfinder, and The Doom of the Haunted Opera by John Boles and Brad Strickland, Where the River Runs Cold by Sita Brahmacari, No Bally Shoes in Syria by Catherine Bruton, Cogheart, Moonlocket, Sky Circus, and Shadow Say by Peter Bunzel, A Pocket Full of Stars by Aisha Bushby, In Darkland Wood, Letters from the Lighthouse, Secrets of a Sun King, and When We Were Warriors by Emma Carroll, House of Secrets by Chris Columbus and Ned Vizzini, The Pill in the Ice by Catherine Constable, The Wizards of Wands and The Wizards of Wands Twice Magic by Cressida Cowell, The BFJ, Billy and the Minpins, Boy, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, Danny the Champion of the World, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Going Solo, and James the Giant Peach, all by Roald Dahl. The Trouble with Perfect and The Battle for Perfect by Helena Duggan, The Dream Snatcher, Rumble Star, and Winter Magic by Abby Elphinstone, Who Let the Gods Out, Simply the Quest, Beyond the Odyssey, and Against All Gods by Maz Evans, The Clockwork Crow, and The Velvet Fox by Catherine Fisher, The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher, Twister by Juliette Forrest, Pocken and Stubbs, and Pocken and Stubbs The Haunting of Pelican City by Sophie Green, Winter House by Ben Gutterson, The Peculiar Pegs of Villain Woods by Samuel J. Halpin, Brightstorm by Vashti Hardy, 13 Treasures, 13 Curses, and 13 Secrets, One Wish, and The Other Alice, all by Michelle Harrison, The Merry Begot by Julie Hearn, The Mask of Arabella by Anna Horton, The Whispers by Greg Howard, Pages and Core, Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James, Song for a Whale by Lynn Kelly, Tin by Padre Kenny, The Secrets of Hexbridge Castle by Gabrielle Kent, The Dead World of Lanthorn Ghouls by Gerald Kilnworth, The Legend of Pock in One Ear by Kieran Larwood, The Nowhere Emporium, The Elsewhere Emporium, Shadowsmith, and Evernight by Ross Mackenzie. Furthermore by Tahara Maffey, The International Yeti Collective by Paul Mason, The Skylark's War by Hilary McKay, Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, The Worst Witch Strikes Again, A Bad Spell for the Worst Witch, The Worst Witch Saves the Day, The Worst Witch to the Rescue, The Worst Witch All at Sea, The Worst Witch in the Wishing Star, and First Prize for the Worst Witch by Jill Murphy, Wish by Barbara O'Connor, The Eye of the North, and The Starspun Web by Sinead O'Hart, Never Tell by Catherine Orton, The Last Spellbreather by Julie Pike, The Last of the Spirits by Chris Priestley, The Wrong Train by Jeremy DeQuitt, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not actually sure if it's a middle grade. The Star Outside My Window by Angelique Q. Roth, The Midnight Hour by Benjamin Reed and Laura Trinder, The Land of Yesterday by K.A. Reynolds, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson and the Save Monsters, Percy Jackson and the Titan's Curse, Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth, and Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian, Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero, Heroes of Olympus, The Son of Neptune, Heroes of Olympus, The Mark of Athena, Heroes of Olympus, The House of Hades, Heroes of Olympus, The Blood of Olympus, and The King Chronicles, The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan, When Money Was There by Joan J. Robinson, The Dollmaker of Krakow by R.M. Romero, The Land of Never Endings by Kate Saunders, Anti-Robbo by Anne Scott Moncrief, Lord Loss, Demon Thief, Slaughter, Beck, Blood Beast, Demon Apocalypse, Death Shadow, Wolf Island, Dark Calling, and Hell's Heroes by Darren Shan, The Carnivorous Carnival, The Slippery Slope, The Grim Grotto, The Penultimate Peril, and The End by Lemony Snicket, Beyond the Deep Woods, Storm Chaser, Midnight over Sanctifrax, and The Curse of the Gloam Closer by Paul Stewart and Chris Riddell, Murder Most Unladylike, and Top Marks for Murder by Robin Stevens, Perfectly Preventable Deaths by Deirdre Sullivan, The Boy Who Fooled the World by Lisa Thompson, The Bad Luck Lighthouse by Nikki Thornton, The Last Wild, The Dark Wild, and The Wild Beyond by Piers Tode, The Kid Who Came from Space by Ross Welford, Oddly Coulter and the Narrowway Hunt, and Oddly Coulter and the Master of Monsters by Rhiannon Williams, and finally Shadows of Winter Spell by Amy Wilson. Okay, so that was all of my children's literature paperbacks. Now on to the young adult paperbacks. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, Simon Faces the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising, Six of Crows, and Kruger Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, The Cruel Prince, and The Wicked King by Holly Black, The Truth About Keeping Secrets by Susanna Brown, Spellslinger, Shadow Black, Charmcaster, Soulbinder, and Queen's Queenseer by Sebastian de Castell, House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, Trolls Eye View, a book of villainous tales edited by Erin Datlow and Terry Windling, Proud, compiled by Juno Dawson, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, Noah Con Even and Noah Could Never by Simon James Green, Evil Star, Night Rise, and Necropolis by Anthony Horowitz, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, The Raven and the Reindeer by T. Kingfisher, Daughter of the Pirate King, and Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller, The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, Kingdom of Ash, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin, all by Sarah J. Maas, Fairest, and Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer, A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, because I'm fucking stupid, My Life with the Walter Boys, and Paper Hearts by Ali Novak, I Was Born for This, and Solitaire by Alice Oseman, The Wicked Will Arise, Yellow Brick War, and The End of Ours by Danielle Page, Witch Sign by Den Patrick, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman, The Kissing Booth 2 Go in the Distance, Out of Tune, and Rolling Dice by Beth Rickles, Library of Souls, and A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs, Insurgent and Allegiant by Veronica Roth, The Archived, The Unbound, This Savage Song, and Our Dog Duet by V.E. Schwab, Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter, The Vampire Diaries, The Return, Nightfall, and The Vampire Diaries, The Return, Shadow Souls by L.J. Smith, The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton, Jemima Small vs. the Universe by Tamsin Winter, and Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I'm trying to speed it up here because I see the battery is starting to deplete. So now on to the adult paperbacks. Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich, My Sister the Serial Killer by Ian Kim Braithwaite, Meddling Kids by Edgar Contero, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, The Complete Short Stories Volume 1 and The Complete Short Stories Volume 2 by Roald Dahl, Truth Witch and Witch by Susan Dennard, The Choice by Edith Eger, The Witch Elm by Tana French, Our Endless Number Days by Claire Fuller, The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gower, Definitely Dead, Altogether Dead, From Dead to Worse, Dead and Gone, and Dead in the Family by Charlene Harris, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix, Alice, Red Queen, The Girl in Red, and Lost Boy by Christina Henry, The Travelling Bag by Susan Hill, The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio Adurb, Shirley Jackson, The Haunting of Hill House, Gilded Cage, Tarnished City, and Bright Ruin by Vic James, The Last by Hannah Jameson, 11/22/63, The Wind Through the Keyhole, The Gunslinger, The Drone of the Three, The Wastelands, Wizards and Glass, Wolves of the Calla, Song of Susanna, The Dark Tower, The Dead Zone, It, Mr. Mercedes, Needful Things, On Writing, The Outsider, Rose Madder, Salem's Lot, The Shining, and The Stand, all by Stephen King, Nevernight, and God's Grave by J. Christoph, The Poppy War by R.F. Kwong, The Richard Lehman Collection, Volume 18 by Richard Lehman, Bird Box by Josh Malaman, The Way of All Flesh by Ambrose Perry, Thin Air by Michelle Paver, Nation by Terry Pratchett, The Revenant by Michael Punk, After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Chasing Red by Isabel Ronan, The Name of the Wind, The Wise Men's Fear, and The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss, Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Marianne Schaefer and Annie Barrows, Lullaby by Leela Slimani, The Witches of Eastwick by John Updike, Fingersmith, The Little Stranger, and finally The Night Watch by Sarah Waters. And when I say finally that time, I mean finally that is all of the books. Wait, no, actually, oh crap, no there isn't, there's more, shit. Classics, okay, Oxford's World's Classic Collection. They are books that I collected throughout uni, and here they are. Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen, Emma, Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, Pride and Prejudice, and Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, Sophia or the Moo by Charlotte Acre, Hard Times, Nicholas Nickleby, Oliver Twist, and A Tale of Two Cities, all by Charles Dickens, The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, Cranford, Mary Barton, Ruth, and Wives and Daughters, all by Elizabeth Gaskell, Selected Tales by the Brothers Grimm, King Solomon's Mines by H. Rider Haggard, Far from the Madden Crowd by Thomas Hardy, Notre Dame de Paris by Victor Hugo, The Chin and the Screw and Other Stories by Henry James, Collected Ghost Stories by M.R. James, Classic Horror Stories by H.P. Lovecraft, Melmoth the Wanderer by Charles Maturin, The Vampire and Other Tales of the Macabre by John Polidori, The Romance of the Forest, and A Sicilian Romance by Anne Radcliffe, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, Dracula by Bram Stoker, Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, and actually finally, The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. Oh, God, that just makes me more determined to get through this TBR so much. Like, it is ridiculous the amount of books that I have to read that I already have, and yet there are a million books coming out in 2020 that I want. The struggle is genuinely real. Yeah, that was my 400 plus book TBR. Owned TBR. I haven't put on the books that I have on my Kindle, because that would take me up to probably around 450. Let's just keep it at this, my 400 plus owned TBR. Physical. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. So please let me know if there are any books on my physical TBR that I should prioritize, maybe that you absolutely genuinely love, and I should get to it straight away. There are a lot of books that I want to get to because a lot of them were gifted by you guys, so thank you so much for these. I am going to prioritize them as much as I can in 2020, and thank you so much for watching this extremely long video. I don't know how long it's going to end up being, but It's going to be fun to find out. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a little like if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Oh God. Oh, that came from my soul.